We're about halfway through the season. There's still a long way to go, but right now I think they're my tip to definitely make the grand final.
John Aloisi, the coach, people don't rate him, and I'm not quite sure why.
Welcome back, Couch Critics. Hope you're doing well right now. You're joined by Brad and Samuel here for another episode. Today, as the title is suggesting, we're going to be talking about Western United. Probably not everyone's favourite team in the competition, but by far the team that has taken this competition by storm. Currently top of the ladder after 4.5.6 weeks. I don't know. How many rounds have we played? 14 and a half? I don't know, whatever. They're killing it. They're top of the ladder right now. Before we get into it, we really appreciate it if you could give this video a like. If we can try and hit 25 likes for this video, that'd be fantastic. And if you haven't subscribed yet, can you please do that? We'd really appreciate it. It really helps with the channel. But anyway, let's get into it. Western United, one of our expansion teams that joined the competition a couple of years ago. First season, a game away from the grand final. Last season, they kind of slipped away towards the last 6-7 weeks and really bombed out. They were in a good chance of making the finals. They just bombed out, and Mark Rudan got the sack. And they've brought in John Aloisi, who you could probably say is the big difference at Western United this season. Samuel, what have you made of Western United? Actually, I think Wanderers have lost to them twice. I think your team's lost to them twice, or they've had a loss and a couple of draws.
A draw and a loss. Yeah. Lost just last night as we record this. Look, we're 13, 12, 14, depending on which team rounds into the season. It'll be almost level at about 15 rounds by the end of Feb. They've been really good. You know, they don't have a lot of fans in, reality, physical fans, or just kind of amongst A-League circles. And yet they really should, because, I mean, as a football club, that's pretty good record to go to the semi-final one year in your first year. Not making the finals in the second year was a bit rough. They looked good for a lot of that season and then just kind of fell off a cliff. And now to be doing what they're doing, that really should be attracting people. So I think they've been playing really good football. I think we both actually tipped them to be quite high in our preseason predictions. So, good to see us couch critics know what we're talking about.
I don't know if I picked them. I'm sure we'll skip back to it. I definitely picked them in the 6. I think I boldly stated all the Victorian and the New South Wales club, the Sydney clubs would qualify for the finals, and I'm probably just going to miss out on my Wanderers boys, but I'll probably get the rest right. But yeah, we did rate, like, on paper. I thought they had, on their day, they could really be up the top end of the ladder, and lo and behold, it's where they are at the moment. Obviously, we're about halfway through the season. There's still a long way to go, but right now I think they're my tip to definitely make the grand final. Will they win it? Okay. It's hard to tell, but I really do think they're going to make the grand final at this rate.
It's hard to see them having the same kind of drop-off in form that they had last season. And I think that's largely down to the players. Before we look at players maybe that have kind of stood out and been successful for them this season, it might be worth just chatting about John Aloisi, the coach, because people don't rate him that highly. He when he got announced as the new Western United coach, there's a lot of murmurs around soccer Twitter. People don't rate him, and I'm not quite sure why. He did good things with Brisbane. Melbourne Heart were a bit of a difficult club when he was there, and so I don't think you could judge him. That was also his first, senior coaching job, and so he's learnt kind of each time. It's quite interesting that a player, who was a striker and played in quite a technical and attacking league like La Liga, favours a really solid defensive kind of play. But I think he understands football in Australia. He understands actually you can let some of those better teams have the ball, have their opportunities, ride your luck sometimes, and then just hit them on the counter, snatch a goal here or there. They've definitely got the quality in that front third to hurt teams. And then when those transition moments happen, I think John Aloisi has really set them up well. What have you made of John Aloisi?
Yeah, I think similar to you, I probably didn't understand the extreme hate he got as a coach. Yeah, he probably didn't perform amazingly in his 2 gigs, but yeah, I've been really impressed with how he's got Western United playing. They're set up really well defensively. They're so tight, so compact, and they're really willing to absorb a lot of pressure. I've noticed the 2 games the Wanderers have played, to be honest, at least the one we played on Sunday gone, when that freakish bicycle kick was scorpion goal was scored. Yeah. We should have won that game. Like we dominated chances. But Western United only need a couple of chances. Bless you. Western United only need 1 or 2 chances, and that's enough for them. And they can defend so well. And they can just soak up the pressure. So the first time we played them, I went to that game at Bankwest, and I'd probably say we're the better team in the first half. It was just 1 chance really from Western United. We had a few chances in the second. I'm just really pleased with how well they're defending. They only need 1 goal, and that for a lot of the time, that's enough for them. I think they've probably had about 6 or 7 1-0 wins this season. And I'm really impressed with their defenders. Is it the Swiss fella Lacroix?
Leo Lacroix.
He's such he's a unit. Far out. When I saw him or Ogawa going up against him, it's like Gandalf and Bilbo. It's just the height comparisons off the scale.
There's a great picture actually of Elvis Kamsoba in the same frame.
Sorry, COVID.
Passed on. There's a great shot of Elvis Kamsoba and Leo Lacroix, and Kamsoba looks tiny. Like that guy is huge. Kamsoba's not tall by any stretch of the imagination, but Lacroix is, and he's a silky footballer. Like really good. I guess this moves us into just chatting about some of the players that are suiting this system really well for Western. Leo Lacroix is definitely one of them. He kind of starts at centre back a lot of the season. He has, and Nikolai Topol-Stanley has
throwing back the years.
Yeah, he looks really good. I think that freedom when he was at the Jets, it really was him. He was the last hope for Jets. But in this back line, he's got a lot more kind of strength around him, which allows him just to do a good job. He's great in the air as well. Ben Garuccio and Josh Risdon are fantastic kind of wide backs to have. They've got the energy and the speed to get forward and hurt teams with the ball. But they're also quite solid defensively, which has been good to watch. Jamie Young, we can't forget him in goalkeeper. That was a big signing. Brisbane losing him was huge. And John Aloisi's done a real good job attracting him to Western United because he just seems to be evergreen. He just, he's a great goalkeeper. And when he gets called on, he's pretty reliable. Yep.
I think there's a lot to like about them.
Yeah. Kilkenny in the midfield. A lot of people don't like Kilkenny, but he just does a good kind of destroyer's job. He doesn't play too much pretty, but he wins the ball back. He's a bit of a nuisance defensively and just shutting down teams on top of the box. You've got Lockie Wales playing some really good stuff for Western at the moment. He looks re-energized. He looks like he's just got a bit of a free role to get in behind defenses, which is really good when you do have someone like Diamante flicking in passes in behind. And Alexander Prijovic, he's been an interesting one. Maybe he hasn't hit the heights we all expected at the start of the season, but he's doing quite a decent job and is finding that role as a more of a target man to hold things up against defenses, which is where the goal against the FC came on Wednesday night. Prijovic holding the ball, holding off the defender, a little flick, and Steven Lustica, who's scored quite a few goals now this season, just enjoying his time bombing on from midfield. So there's plenty to like. We haven't even talked about people like Rene Krhin, who's also just a really good kind of midfielder. Tomoki Imai is a great step in defence. Dylan Wenzel-Hall's up front when need that change when the system isn't working with Prijovic. Rental Halls is a really good pressing forward. So plenty of good performances from Western United players that sees them rightly, I think, at the top of the table.
Yep. How far do you think they can go? Where do you see them finishing up at the end of 26 rounds?
Yeah, see, at the end of the regular season, I would say at this point it really is between them and Melbourne City for that top spot. I think Victory have kind of dropped off a little bit. Sydney don't look like they're really going to kick on much more. They're kind of just going game by game. Macarthur, I don't think are going to chase them down either. They have a capitulation in them.
Yeah, Macarthur's one of those teams that could be world beaters on their day, but for 3 weeks in a row they could concede 20 goals. They're too inconsistent. If Macarthur, got rid of those really inconsistent days, I think they could push it. But I think in the moment, Melbourne City are just coming into that form we saw from them last season. They had a bit of a slowish start, but I think in the past couple of weeks, they're really hitting form. Jamie McLaren's finding the back of the net for fun. If they beat Western United at the top for the minor premiership, I wouldn't be surprised. But really, I reckon they can. I just think the way they grind out games, they're not particularly enjoyable team to watch in terms of, do you want to watch a beautiful team play? But they're getting the results. I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, and that's it. We've heard a little bit of this just change in style of football, that possession doesn't actually win you games. At the end of the day, putting in goals and keeping it out of yours, that's what wins you games. And Western have found a way to do that quite effectively, and still rotate their squad well, keep people fit. It's been quite impressive to watch. So I think they're definitely kind of being those top two. Finals are, a different story, really. We know historically a lot of the top two teams do make it into that grand final, but they could not, that's the fun of finals. And when you've got teams like Victory, like Sydney FC, in and around those finals, you can't write them off. So that'll be interesting to watch. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think that probably leaves us there for our thoughts on Western United so far. So thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. Like we said, if we can crack 25 likes for this video, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're trying to push towards the half K mark, where, I don't know, we're about 40 off 500 subscribers now, which is fantastic. This channel has been going for over 2 years now. So thanks for sticking around for this long. And get in the comments and let us know what you've made of Western United this season. Have you been impressed? Do you think they're boring? Do you think they're going to capitulate the next 5 weeks? Let us know. But for now, we'll see you in the next episode.
See you later.